Good afternoon. I'm County Executive Ken Jenkins, and today we are joining you from our Westchester County Correction Facility to talk about a first-of-its-kind program for clients residing at the facility. Today we're going to be proud to announce the free client phone access program, a new calling system that will enable residents living at the jail to have free, easy access to their attorneys while they go through legal proceedings. Joining us this afternoon is the Deputy County Executive, Richard Wishney, certainly the Commissioner of our Westchester County Department of Correction, Joe Spano. We're going to have Stephanie Perez, who is the Acting Administrator from the Westchester County Office of Assigned Counsel. We have Ed Rachonsky, who is the Assistant Director of Telecommunications for Westchester County, the Department of Information Technology, do it. And then we're also going to hear from our county legislator, David Imamura. This program, Free Client Phone Access Program. This program is a result of the successful collaboration between the Westchester Department of Correction, the Office of Assigned Counsel, and the Department of Information Technology. I want to commend the DOC Commissioner, Joe Spano, the Office of Assigned Counsel's Administrator, Stephanie Perez, and telecommunications expert extraordinaire, Ed Rachonsky, who are here with us today and who will speak shortly, for their foresight and their dedication to the many residents this program has already helped and will help in the future. Thanks to them, clients and residents who have limited financial resources will have unlimited access to speak with their attorneys at no cost. In our country, everyone's innocent until proven guilty, and everyone has the same right to qualified legal representation regardless of their economic status. We want to ensure that there's equitable access as well. It's important that the residents of our jail feel supported when navigating the legal system, and no one should feel that they're at a disadvantage because of the cost of a phone call. This initiative guarantees a level playing field for everyone during these challenging times. In addition to ensuring equal access to counsel, this program also highlights how effective county government can be when multiple departments partner together towards a shared vision and goal. By working closely and thinking outside the box, the departments were able to take a project that had many challenges from a concept to a success. Since this program was implemented, over 480 calls have been successfully placed to attorneys through the system. I'm now going to turn over to Commissioner Joe Spano, who will share a bit more about the positive impact this program has already had. Commissioner.
Thank you. Thank you, County Executive Jenkins. And I'm standing here next to the County Executive and the Deputy County Executive, and I can't help but think about the decades of support the two of you have provided this agency. Over 3 decades of support, meaningful support. It really helped reshape our agency and has resulted in positive growth and advancement of the department. So I just wanted to take an opportunity to point that out and say thank you.
Thank you.
And I also want to point out that we're live streaming from the Westchester DOC Education Center, and that's been in place for over 2 decades now. Why is that important? Well, it's important and symbolic to our department because part of the reason we're recognized as a leader in the correction space is directly connected to the many best-in-class rehabilitation programs and services that we offer to individuals in our care. And doing so certainly aligns with the core mission and values of our department, so I wanted to make sure that I highlighted today's location. As for the initiative, I guess it's also symbolic for us to embrace new initiatives here at DOC. We're constantly challenging ourselves to find ways to run safer and to improve quality of life for our residents and for our staff. And in some ways, this initiative touches all of those categories. I think it was in September that Stephanie Perez reached out from the Office of Assigned Counsel and Sherilyn Pulver. They reached out to our department and county IT and asked if we would be interested in developing a free phone calling system for incarcerated individuals in our care to connect them with 18B attorneys. We certainly embraced the idea and committed to exploring feasibility. I think it's important to point out at that time there were other means of communication in place. We certainly were engaging in in-person visitation. We were also offering free video visitation connections between the clients and the 18B attorneys. So this was just another effort to enhance that communication process. And Ed Wierchanski, you will talk about this in greater detail, but the initial evaluation did uncover a lot of challenges and obstacles that needed to be addressed along the way. And this was certainly not a situation where they were going to push a few buttons and we had a free phone calling system in place. But to the credit of all involved, after months of intensive collaboration, a lot of back-end work, a lot of testing, we launched this pilot program on December 16th. And as County Executive said, you know, over 400 successful connections already, which is a big deal. And Stephanie, I'm sure you'll talk about the impact that this initiative has had on your organization and your colleagues. But for us at DOC, I'll tell you what the potential impact is. You know, stating the obvious, when someone is remanded into a jail setting, it causes them a lot of anxiety. We know for certain keeping that individual connected with their family and with their attorney greatly reduces that anxiety. And anytime you can reduce anxiety in a jail setting, you reduce the risk of having a bad outcome. Remember what I said earlier, positive impact on the residents, on our staff, and on operational safety. All good things. So Stephanie, to you and your team, I want to say thank you, certainly County Executive Jenkins, for your support. Ed, you and your team, I mean, you were the brains behind the operation. We handed you and your team a concept, and you helped it become a reality. And certainly, last but not least, the DOC team, many of whom are here today. I figured since I had the home court advantage, I would stack the deck a little bit. But, and that includes First Deputy Commissioner Nori Padilla, Deputy Commissioner Naima Johnson, Assistant Warden Jeremiah Tejada, sorry there, partner, Sergeant Singh, Sergeant Reyes, and where are you, Crystal? RIT Administrator Crystal Smith. And every one of these individuals were involved in the planning and development of this initiative, and they deserve special recognition. And as we do with all initiatives, we'll monitor this one very closely. We'll make changes and adjustments along the way, but we are committed to keeping this free phone access system in place. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Thank you, Commissioner. At this time, we're going to ask Stephanie Perez to come up and give us the thoughts that come from the Office of Assigned Counsel. And some people don't recognize that, you know, and I know a lot of us watch TV and see the shows like Law and Order and CSI and that kind of thing, and that says, if you can't afford a lawyer, one will be appointed for you. Well, that's the program. That's the 18B panel. That's the state section of the law in Article 18B that provides that free legal counsel. And for Westchester, we have the Office of Assigned Counsel, whose responsibilities are to help navigate that, to make sure that there is the highest quality of representation that's made for the people that need that representation, but more importantly, there's the training and the additional support for the lawyers that are participating in this. And this is another effort in that regard. With that, let's turn to the Administrator, Stephanie Perez.
Thank you, Commissioner. I'd like to start today by first thanking the County Executive, Ken Jenkins, and our Deputy County Executive for the ongoing and continued support that they have shown for our office, for the Assigned Counsel, for the members of our panel, which is a 250-strong member of attorneys representing these clients, and for the clients themselves. The Office of Assigned Counsel is a newer county department. We actually just celebrated our 2-year anniversary a few months ago, and we are responsible for administering this panel of attorneys who provide this critically important resource and representation to these clients. In establishing the foundation for this office, we recognized a need for the residents, for our clients who are residents at the county jail, to have easy access to reach their attorneys. Because the attorneys on our panel are not county employees and they're not employees of our office, these are all private attorneys in private practice with their own individual offices. There was no central way for the clients to be able to easily reach those attorneys. And to bridge that gap, we partnered with the County Department of Corrections and with the County IT Department to create this free and innovative method by which our clients would be able to have easy access to reach their attorneys. The system, as you've heard, has been up and running since mid-December, and it has been an absolute resounding success. The phone rings directly into our office, and then it is transferred by our team members to an automated system, which then puts the client directly into contact with their attorneys. Team members in our office receive these calls throughout our workday, and they transfer them to the automated system, and it's a very, very easy system. Thank you, Ed, for the ingeniousness there. And our entire team was able to very, very quickly become familiar with it. In addition to the automated system, there's also a feature that Ed programmed in there, which allows the client to actually speak with a member of our office if they need additional help, if the automated system wasn't working. Now, that does not actually happen very often, which is a further testament to just how well the automated system is working. As you've heard, we've received well over 400 phone calls, and yet a very, very small fraction of them were actually additional help needed. The AI system that Ed designed is actually working perfectly. Once we receive the call for additional help, we have the opportunity to speak with the client. We figure out who their attorney is, and then we reach out to the attorney to let them know that their client would like to speak with them. The attorneys on our panel have been very quick to react to this new system. The way that they're reacting is by either coming up here to the jail to visit in person with their client, or, as the commissioner was mentioning, they're making use of the Securus video visitation, which allows them to have a virtual visit with their client. And the attorneys on our panel are reporting to us that both the contact that they're receiving from the clients on the direct calls, as well as the contact they're receiving from our office when a client would like to speak with them, is really easing the process for them of being able to know when their clients need to reach them. This phone system has revolutionized access to justice in Westchester County. The sheer volume of the calls that we receive on a daily basis through the automated system is a clear indicator of the need that this program is filling for access to justice for these clients. And it's in a way that they did not previously have. While they did have other access to justice, this phone calling system was a way that they did not previously have it. We appreciate County IT for their ingenuity in crafting this system, and we appreciate the Department of Corrections for their willingness to partner with us in this innovative pilot that we pitched, which, as the commissioner said, there were lots of bumps along the way, and yet the Department of Corrections stayed with us, and we powered through, and we came up with a system that is just working seamlessly. And finally, we appreciate the county for supporting our panel and providing access to justice for our clients. In speaking with our state partners, it appears that this program may be the very first of its kind in New York State, and I applaud Westchester County for its commitment to access to justice. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, Stephanie. And again, now we're going to hear from the man behind the curtain, and as it turns out, our telecommunications expert, Ed Rachonsky, who is here from the Department of Information Technology to give us a little bit more about the system that he helped create. Ed.
Thank you. Thank you, County Executive. First of all, I just want to say thank you very much to the Office of Assigned Counsel and Department of Corrections. This couldn't have been done without a team that was put together. It was like a bunch of jigsaw puzzle pieces laid out on the floor that we had to put together piece by piece until we got it right. As both the Commissioner and the County Executive stated, there were plenty of challenges along the way. Right off the bat, we hit a challenge where we were told that all calls had to be accepted by pressing a 0 for legal reasons, and the system could not do that. I even tried to record the DTMF tone of a 0, but that didn't work. But thankfully, the Office of Assigned Counsel agreed to have a live person answer the calls, so we were able to get the calls to the Office of Assigned Counsel, and then they would transfer it to the system. And there was a lot taking place behind the scenes. So while this was happening, the concern was we have the resident on the end waiting, wondering what's going on, and is the call being processed? So we instituted a recording saying, please wait, your call is being transferred, so they wouldn't think they got lost in limbo. We had other challenges, such as we wanted to make sure that they were able to get help if the system didn't recognize the name they were saying, or there was noise in the background. The system I use is a directory handler, which is used by the county for people that call into the county when our switchboard operators are not on board, and it asks you to say the name of the person or the department you want to reach, and it directs you to that. So I basically looked at that as the model, and I knew, though, we had to separate it. It couldn't be incorporated with the attorneys, with the county, so I made a completely new handler and dedicated just to the Office of Assigned Counsel 18B attorneys. And again, there was issues with the environment at DOC, noise in the background. So I was able to tweak the system that it wasn't as sensitive, and looking for such a precise, wording or pronunciation of the name, and that seemed to help out with that problem. Then the issue came up of, what if there's still an issue? The system doesn't recognize the name. Can they get to a live person for help? Again, Office of Assigned Counsel stepped up and said, yes, we will have somebody here to help. So I just created a brand new contact name called Assistance Needed. So they say assistance needed, and it goes to a unique number in the Office of Assigned Counsel. When they see that number ring, they know exactly what it's for. They know it's a live person on the other end waiting for help. And we try to program this as systematically as possible and as easily as possible to make it quick and simple. And again, without the help of Office of Assigned Counsel and DOC, it wouldn't have gotten done so quickly and the way it did. So I'm honored and I'm proud to be a part of this, such an important initiative to the county, to the public, that is well deserved and well needed. Thank you.
Well, let's just have David Imamura, our county legislator, come up and say a few words on behalf of the Board of Legislators and his colleague, Terry Clemens.
Well, thank you, County Executive. I want to begin by thanking the county government. Thank you, Ken. Thank you, Ed. Thank you, Commissioner, for all of your work to make this program a reality. So on behalf of the county legislature, on behalf of my colleague, Terry Clemens, who's chair of the Public Safety Committee, this is an incredible program. Before I was elected, I was an attorney. And as an attorney, I can tell you that there's nothing more important than having access to legal advice. In the United States Constitution, it says that we are entitled to equal justice under law. The only way to ensure equal justice under law is by giving everyone the opportunity to get the legal advice that they are entitled to. And because of the work of the people in this room, that has become a reality. Westchester is leading the way in making sure that all residents at this facility have access to the legal advice that they are entitled to. So today, we look at the scales of justice held by a blinded woman, and we know that we're creating a system where the scales are just a little more balanced. And that's what our residents here deserve. So again, thank you so much to everyone involved, and have a good day. Thank you.
Thank you, Legislator Moore. So once again, it's the free client phone access program, again, continuing that leadership. Our Department of Correction is a leader, a nationally recognized leader, certified leader, to be able to do the creative things that the creative team from Commissioner Spano and the deputy commissioners, the wardens, sergeants, and all the folks that lead the efforts here in DOC to make sure, as Commissioner likes to say, that the residents that come through our facility have a better outcome and are on a better path once they walk out the doors here, right? After they have done whatever service that they need to do and completed that service, that they're going to be on a better path. And in the place where they're waiting for their trials to come up, that they have that access, as County Legislator Emma Mora, who is still an attorney and a fantastic one at that, by the way, that they continues to make sure that they have that access that's necessary. The partnership with the Office of Assigned Counsel and Stephanie Perez and her predecessor, the Administrator Sherilyn Pulver, we're able to come up with the things to make sure that the attorneys that are in the 18B panel that are taking on this work are able to give the quality work necessary to make sure that there's fairness and equity in our justice system. And again, that's a credit and testimony to Stephanie Perez and the work that the Office of Assigned Counsel does on behalf of those 250 attorneys that are part of the panel that represent the people that need those services. And certainly our Department of Information Technology, led by our CIO, Marguerite Byrne, and here in this effort, Ed Chonsky, was able to make sure that the partnership and the things actually work. And it's always fun listening to our technology individuals, that when they talk about the things that are happening behind the scenes and making it seem so easy. We know it's not as easy as Ed made it sound today, but we appreciate the work. And again, it's a satisfying thing to see those programs work. I don't know about you. I know that many of us have this experience when we call a business and try to get to a person. You first get that automated phone system. I know I press 0 a lot, and I say representative, and whether the system can hear me or not. And then at the third time, when it says we can't understand what you're saying, you got to press buttons now. All those things are frustrating. Imagine if your life and your freedom was on the line when that was happening. So this kind of system that's created, again, by the Department of Correction, Office of Assigned Counsel, and Department of Information Technology gives people that piece, as Commissioner was pointing out, to make things just a bit easier while they're going through this process and they are facing the things that they have to face in going through that process. But while residents are in our care and custody, as Commissioner always points out to us, that we're going to do the very best that we can do to make sure that people are on a better path. So with that, I'm County Executive Ken Jenkins. Thanks for watching. And again, the free client phone access program, another fantastic program that's been created by a partnership with the Office of Assigned Counsel, Department of Correction, and Department of Information Technology. Thanks again.